What the fuck is up, my bitches? If you are new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and happy motherfucking hump day! Guys, it is almost Christmas. This is problematic. I can't even believe we're almost there. I have not all my Christmas shopping done yet. It's a hot mess, but you know what? We got new makeup today, so we're here to play with the new Natasha Denona, the mini Biba palette. And I couldn't remember if I got this, but it did show up. I know I look crazy right now, okay? I'm testing some new complexion products today. Probably not a good video to do that, but it's fine, okay? So I picked up the new Natasha Denona, and I'm just like, this would fucking happen to me. Because if you're familiar with me and my channel, and if you're not, I mean, y'all need to get it together and subscribe, like the damn video, or dislike it, that's fine too, but, I mean, subscribe, because who doesn't love live stream content on YouTube? Just wondering. So I say that this would happen to me because y'all know how long I have wanted the original Biba palette for. And I finally was gifted it. I was like beside myself when I was actually gifted this. So I've gotten it. I love it. It's one of my favorite palettes of 2021. But since I wanted this for so long, I'm like, go figure. As soon as I get the full-size palette, the fucking mini size comes out. So there's that. I have told myself time and time again that I will not purchase her complexion products anymore because they never look good on my textured skin. So already like open mouth, insert foot. So if you didn't see this yet, this is the Rose Cheek Duo. It's a cream, blush, and highlighter. And I'm actually going to do some comparisons today because I did have a clown moment. And I picked up the Glam Face and Eye palettes, and I feel like if you pick this up, this could be comparison worthy because you obviously got your face products and your eye products in this palette, but it's like double the price. So I thought this would be a comparison. I thought the Mini Nude would be a good comparison, and also the original Biba palette. So I'm going to do some comparisons, some swatches. I'm basically going to try this stuff, see how it looks on my skin. But this is tiny. I was like, oh damn, she is not kidding when she says like mini duos. Have y'all seen the palettes before? This is the Mini Nude, just for size comparison. Like, this thing is teeny tiny. Like, it's super cute. And I feel like if you wanted to try Natasha Denona formula, these minis are perfect because they're not that expensive, but you're still supposed to get, you know, like the Natasha Denona quality, you know? So it's like a good stepping stone into the brand, which is why I was like, all right, fine. Okay, I'll do it for science. I'll do it for texture so we can see what this looks like on textured skin because there's something about her blush formulas that I don't typically like. But before we get into playing with this makeup, guys, did you like the video yet? I will wait. We're drinking high noons again. Grapefruit. And if you're joining the live chat, all aboard, everybody, because it's bound to be a hot fucking mess. So if you're wondering the complexion that I'm wearing, they are both new products. I just have concealer and foundation on, and you're going to see these in a future video, but the concealer I'm wearing is the IT Cosmetics, the Bye Bye Under Eye, and I'm also wearing the Tarte Hydro Flex Serum Foundation, and I'm wearing the shade 20N Light Neutral just for shade reference. What shade is this? 13 Light Natural N. In the Bye Bye Under Eye. This pigmentation, though, I was like, oh shit, I was not prepared for the coverage of that concealer. So that's the complexion you're seeing. Complexion. All right, let's start with, I didn't put like bronzer or anything on because I wanted you guys to truly see like what this actually looks like on my skin tone. So let's just start with this and then we'll do the eyeshadow palette after that. Sound good? Okay. So let's start here. I'm just going to say, I typically don't like Natasha Denona, especially her blush formula, just because it's literally a cream to powder formula, and it looks more matte. At least, in my opinion, it does. Her highlighters, I have found the formulas are different. Like, amongst her line, they always seem to be different, and I'll get into some comparisons and why I say that. So here's swatches of these here. Like, when I swatch these, I'm like, okay, they look beautiful. The blush formula does feel like that cream to powder formula that I straight up don't like. So I'm not really super jazzed about that. And then when I swatch the highlighter, it looks, if anything, a little bit more subtle, which I'm pretty sure we've seen this formula from her before. But where I say, like, within her, like, line, there are differences in formulas, I immediately thought of this palette just because I feel like the blush is, like, the same type of formula. You see how in the pan you could see, like, how it's just, like, funky textures because of how I feel like I have to use this. I feel like the blushes are best applied either with your finger or with a beauty blender. But the highlighter in this palette is much different. I'm going to do some comparisons of these two because I think these might be the only two from Natasha Denona that I feel like are fairly close. And I think a lot of people ended up picking up these palettes as well. So with the new mini, I think it's definitely more like pinky rosy tone. Whereas with the Glam Face and Eye palette, I feel like you're getting more of like a... You're still getting like a warm tone peach, I think I would call this. But the highlight for me, I think is more comparable to... Is it her Super Glow? Is that what it is? Because this is like super shiny, reflective. Like I feel like it's way more punchy than what you're getting in this new mini duo. Does that make sense? So initially I'm just like, all right, I'm not I'm not really that excited about this just because I know how I feel about the formulas typically. I'm just going to apply them and show you how exactly they look if you're like a shade similar to me. So I'm just going to put the blush on my face first with my finger. I'll do my finger on this side and then I'll basically blend it out with the sponge and then I'll apply it with just the sponge on the other side because that's how I would apply them. So like I said, with her formula, it's definitely like not sheer, but it's definitely not like an insane amount of pigmentation. Like for how pigmented that just looked when I applied it with my finger and then how it blends. It's basically if you don't like a super blushy cheek, which I'm a big fan of, like I think the finish is nice, but it's just different from what I look for. I actually see like a little bit of a glow with this one, which is actually surprisingly pretty. Oh, let's see. Oh, you guys are saying you want the dark palette. I personally prefer the dark palette. I've asked you guys a bunch, like every time I've worn the palettes and then when I did my comparison video on those Glam Face and Eye palettes, like which one you guys preferred. And people on me preferred the light one, but I prefer the deeper one just because it's my preference. So I'm noticing like when I pick this up on a sponge, and I think this is another thing that I don't like because I'm another person that I don't like to apply makeup with my fingers. I don't know why. It like skeeves me out. And I don't feel like it ever looks blended enough. I always feel like I need to do like either a brush on top or my sponge. But like I said, with her formula, I do prefer a sponge. So this is definitely light. You could see a slight sheen to it, which is very pretty. But overall, for a cream blush formula, this is not my jam. I prefer other ones so much more than this. Luckily, this palette isn't that expensive. I think if you've wanted to try her palettes and you wanted to try her formulas, this would be a great way to almost like test out her formulas if they work for your skin. But there's just something about her formulas, especially for complexion, that I just am not favorable to. I don't feel like they look really the best. Like this one's not looking too terrible, but it doesn't look fantastic either. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? If you guys are watching the live chat, comment what you guys think. Or if you're watching the playback, you can comment in the comment section what you guys think. Did you guys pick up this collection? Are you guys noticing though, like how much I'm going over this and how it's buildable? It's not layering funny, but I'm having to layer quite a bit for the pigmentation that I like as well. So that's another thing that's just like, I mean, what is overall winning for me with the blush is that beautiful sheen that this has, because hers normally for me, they don't look like that. If anything, I think they usually accentuate my texture a bit. So I'm not super pissed about it, but it's also, like I said, it's not my favorite. Let's see. You guys are saying you like it. It's on the way. I wish I loved her cream face products, but I can't get with it. And that's exactly how I feel. So as far as the blush goes, that's where I'm going to leave it. And then I'll jump over to the highlighter. Where's my highlighter brush? I'm going to use my Scott Barnes because I feel like this is the one I use the most. So if you guys want to see how these looked on my face, I would suggest you checking out that comparison video where I compared the light version to the deep version and you could see me apply everything. You're pretty much going to hear the same type of feedback as far as formula goes, but I do really like the highlighter in that palette. So let's go in with the Mini Face Duo in the highlighter. I think this one is slightly deeper and it might be slightly more gold tone, but I feel like this one too is going to be a little bit more subtle. I think this is going to be more of like a, maybe like a Charlotte Tilbury sort of a situation, like everyday wearable, very natural looking, healthy glow. But here's also the thing when it comes to Natasha Denona complexion for me. I usually like it a lot when I first use it. And then as I use it, the more that I don't like it. It's very bizarre, but I notice it like every single time. Like right now when I look at that, I'm like, that looks fucking beautiful. Right? It does accentuate texture a little bit, but pretty much all highlighters do. But I feel like this is something I could definitely wear on like a day-to-day or like a work sort of a highlighter if I actually went to work. The perks of working for yourself. I love that for me. Carla said, I'm not a pink blush fan. It's cute though. See, it's definitely more like pink than rose, I think. At least for my complexion. Like when I swatched it, it looked very rosy toned. But I think when I apply it to my face, I'm seeing more pink. So, I mean, I like it. I think it's pretty. I'm actually more impressed, I think, with the blush than I was expecting to be. But this highlighter, I think it's cute. It's definitely reminding me of Charlotte Tilbury, like, immediately. I think everything looks so crazy, like, without bronzer. But I wanted you guys to see what what they looked like basically by themselves. Let me go in with, like, my Hollywood contour wand just to, like, give my face some dimension because after the holidays, I swear, I need to, like, go on a serious, like, workout mode or something. Something's got to give when the holidays are over. I refuse to start doing something, though, like, right before the holidays. That's not going to fucking happen. So I just want to lightly contour just to, you know, make my face look a little bit more flattered. How are you guys feeling about it, though? Like, if you guys did pick this up, let me know if you received it. Has anybody seen this in store yet? Because I noticed I was chatting with one of the girls in the store the other day, and she mentioned that the employees have to sign NDAs now, which I don't think that that was a thing before. I go, you know why you probably do? Because of people like me that come in and try to get you to sell me shit early. And then she was trying to act like she didn't know it was coming, and I'm like, how do I know that she's launching a palette and you don't? And she just kind of looked at me. I'm like, that's what I thought. Don't blame me. Let's see. Natasha said the blush shade is a hybrid of Daria and the Glam Face Palette. Ooh, thank you for that. I did not know that. Daria is definitely more pinky toned. I had that palette for about 0.5 seconds, but I couldn't justify the price of it for how much I didn't enjoy the formula. So, I mean, this has been like a consistent thing for me. And like I said, I'll probably really like this today, but then tomorrow or the next day, I'll be like, yeah, no, the more that I use it, the more that I don't like it. Oh, my freaking camera. I really need to get a new cord. Hold on, guys. My camera disconnected. Can you still hear me? Oh, this is so annoying. I knew it was going to do that too. Can you see me yet? Am I going to be a color? Ugh. Hold on. This is so annoying. See, behind the scenes. Look, everybody. Oh, fuck. God damn it. I knew it was going to do this because it was giving me issues before I even started. I think my cable is just ready to shit the bed. Because it's like the cable itself. Look at what's happening. The cable itself, it's just not staying connected. Oopsie. Like it's not even picking up my cable right now. Well, we might have to end today's video because I can't figure out how to get this to turn back on. Hold on, I'm still trying, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me. You can like the video in the meantime, guys. It's okay. I will accept it if you do that. Okay, here we go. Guys, I apologize. I just need a new cable, I think. I'm going to try to get one Probably after the holiday now, because I don't think I'm going to end up getting it in time. So we're just going to have to deal with it for now. Okay? Purple now. Okay, everybody probably just left. It's fine. Let's keep going. I really don't like this foundation so far. Have you guys tried this one, the Tarte one? Okay. Let's move on to the eyeballs. We did swatches of the Rose Cheek Duo. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. That just totally made me sidetracked. I'm like, only me and my channel. But yes, for real, guys. For real. Damn technology. Lisa, you don't even know. Technology is always the fucking worst. Okay, let's start with the packaging. Let me just say, I hope Sephora continues to do this, because I think they finally realized they can't ship Natasha Denona palettes. I can't fucking talk ever, I swear. They started shipping them inside of a box, which I think that that's definitely helping as far as, like, damages go, because if you guys didn't know, my Biba was damaged, and I had to press them, but they sent me another one. So technically, I have 2 Biba now. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's got the shades on the back. It's got all the ingredients and shit like that. It's 24-month shelf life, alcohol-free, made in Italy. Oh, let's see if there's anything else that we want to know, but probably not. I feel like that's the main thing, like where it's made. You've seen this packaging before. It's just the different color story. So this is what our color story looks like. Let me just say this. When I first saw this on Sephora, it was like a month ago. And I kicked myself in the ass because I looked at it and I'm like, is that mini nude? Like, did they rename it? Like, because when you clicked on, back when I was stalking the Biba palette all the time, you could see this palette, but then it gave you an option to click on like a mini. And I'm telling you, this was like a month ago. So I knew like what the palette looked like. I just wish that I bought it back then, because I would have had this like long before, but I was like, no, I'm tripping. Like they had to have like done this and I just didn't realize it. Whatever. So let's start with, first of all, the color story. You all know I'm a basic bitch when it comes to my palettes. I love neutral color stories. I have no doubts that this is going to be a fucking bomb-ass palette. Especially for like a neutral makeup lover that either hasn't tried Natasha Denona formulas, because I look at this and I'm like, all right, I have the Biba. There's no fucking way I needed this, because there is going to definitely be overlap. Where I thought that this would be great would be for somebody like me that really wanted the Biba but didn't want to spend the $120+ on it. But also for the people that either haven't tried Natasha before, or you're just wanting like the literally most basic as fuck eyeshadow palette in a 5-pan, because I feel like people do really like color stories like this, as far as like quads, 5-pans, even 9-pans. Like who doesn't love this? I do. So this is the swatches of the mini Biba. I do want to swatch this one just really quick because it's right here. This is the mini nude. So I feel like when you look at these side by side, you're like, wow, they're really, really close. Like, I feel like, honestly, like looking at these right next to each other, if you have the mini nude, no, they're not the same, but they're really, really close. Like, I don't think that you need both by any means. If you prefer more like metallics or like shimmery eyeshadows, I would go for the mini nude, because in the mini Biba, there's like one, I would say, metallic, 3 mattes, and then one more of like creamy satin sort of a shade. So the one that I'm going to consider the metallic is like that champagne shade here. And then this shade up here is what the one I'm going to say is like her special formula. Like, I think it's like the cream to powder formula, but it looks more of like a satin. The formulas feel beautiful. The textures feel really nice. The color story is totally up my alley, which is why I bought it. Everybody was like, I'll be surprised if you don't buy it, because everybody knows I love friggin' neutrals. There's actually no overlap. I don't like, okay. When I say overlap, I mean like on your eyeballs. Like, I feel like you could get something very, very similar to this. It's not identical. So it's like, no, you're not getting the exact same eyeshadows. But when you put them on your eyes, if you have Biba, you're going to get something that's very close, in my opinion. Yo, give me all the shimmers! Mm-hmm. I am with you there. All right, so let's just start playing with this damn thing. So I'm going to start with this shade right here. She has her, like, all the names written very small, and they're kind of hard for me to read, so I'm just going to point to the shades that I'm using. Does that sound good? I'm going to use my Sonia G, the Blender Pro, and I'm just going to throw this right up in my crease, and then also, like, blend out those concealer creases at the same time. So, if you guys purchased this palette and if you've received it, have you tried it and what do you think of it? Like I said, I'm a big fan of Natasha Denona formulas, so I can almost guarantee, like, I'm gonna fucking love this because it's a color story that I'm totally into. It's eyeshadow formulas that I already know that I love, and just by, like, the texture of how they feel, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. So let me see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Oh, flippin' sake, I was on top chat. Tammy, you fucking up. Let's see. Can you please swatch the mini Biba next to the shades? Yes, girl. Eden, I got you. I'm going to use this first. I just wanted to do, like, the side-by-side comparison really quick, and then I'll get into the swatches at the end. I'm just doing one look today because I honestly don't feel like doing, like, a ton of different looks. I'm just going to do a look that would probably be, like, my go-to when I would use this palette. Makes sense? And then you'll probably see me use this more in the future. Where I think that I would use this palette the most is either, like, traveling or... I'm not going to say, like, a take-it-with-me sort of a palette because... I'm not that bitch. I'm not that bitch that carries, like, a lick of makeup in my bag. The only thing that you'll ever probably find in my bag that's makeup related is, like, a lip balm or a lip gloss. Maybe a liquid lipstick. It's a lip product. I will never have brushes. I will never have anything except lip products. But everybody has, you know, their own way of doing shit, and that's totally fine. All right, let's... wipe off this brush. I'm going to use the Sonia G. This is the Builder. Did anybody pick up the new Sonia G brushes? I'm so curious because I thought people were going to be really excited about them, and I don't think any of you guys were. Like, I didn't even post it that it was available yesterday, or was it today or yesterday, just because I was like, people don't care. I was so surprised. I'm waiting to see what you think before I add to cart. I am the tell-all. I mean, I can almost guarantee I'm going to say, yeah, it's basic as fuck, but it's a color story that I live for. I guarantee I'm going to love it. Just because I know what I like, and I know Natasha Denona is just fairly consistent when it comes to, like, especially her eyeshadows. Her eyeshadows are my favorite thing that she does. Complexion products, could do without those, but her eyeshadows, I'm just like, nah, I think that they're definitely worth the hype because the formulas are just spectacular. Those $500 ones, nope. Yes, that's the one I was talking about. I'm like, ooh, because I was gonna get it, and then nobody was excited, so I'm like, well, fuck. They just saved me a lot of money. I love that for me. All right, let me grab... what brush do I want to use? I really want to use my Worker Pro, but it's got so much pigment on it right now, and I don't want to get... Let me try to wipe it off really quick. I wish Scott Barnes would just bring back the original... Wait, so is that SB Scott Barnes? That's at least who I thought. The Sonia G brush is sold out in minutes at that price. So crazy. I'm not surprised at all because it's like people that love Sonia G, they love... Like, I love her brushes, but I think Refer, like the... I think Refer shapes are just better for me. Just, like, better for me and my eye shape. I'm just taking the deepest shade right now in the palette and basically just doing, like, my go-to type of look. The shade that I used before this was that more of, like, creamy, like, comfort matte. Does it say what the, like, actual, like, formulas are on here? Let me check this really quick. I didn't look into this, like, at all because I wanted to be, you know, excited. So she's got matte eyeshadows, metallic duochrome. Okay, that's not telling me anything. It just says ingredients. It doesn't say exactly, like, what the types of formulas are. I'm just gonna call that second shade, the one that I applied before this one, like her creamy matte, just because that's what it's reminding me of as far as, like, texture wise. This is so nice, though. I can't wait to put that freaking metallic on my lid, though. I'm not the type of person that usually comments on videos, but I watch your videos all the time. Does anyone know if that screws up her engagement, though? Not sure if that affects anything. Kelsey, I appreciate you, but it does definitely help, like, when you do comment, not even on just my videos. Like, any videos that you're watching, and if you're commenting, especially in lives, like, if you're interacting, it does tell YouTube, like, oh, these bitches love this shit. Like, and it'll just, if anything, like, push the content out a little bit more. I mean, I don't think YouTube's algorithm is honestly that great anyway, so I don't think it's like a big deal. I think the biggest thing is like subscribing, watching the video, and how long you watch the video, I think is like the biggest thing when it comes to like YouTube recommending the video, like if you watch the video all the way through. So it's like if you guys come in the video and are watching, I think I want to flick this out. And if you leave, it tells YouTube, like, okay, people aren't loving this for, like, a long-term sort of a thing. So that could definitely affect, like, engagement, interaction, and it could tell YouTube, like, okay, maybe not recommend this. But it's, in my opinion, the best algorithm is TikTok because it just does everything the way that I feel like makes the most sense. But yes, commenting, liking the video, interacting with the chat, that all does help. But then again, I think YouTube does have its favorites as well. What are you guys thinking of the look so far? This is just like my typical sort of a look. I'm noticing, I think this could be because of the concealer that I had down though, because it is creasing like quite a bit. But I think it's that eye base that I have, which is only a concealer. I'll have to use this again using like my Gerard Cosmetics, but it's like the blend, how these colors are all like meshing together beautifully, but it's like they mesh together, but they still stand out. Like you could still see the different shades that I used. That's a good fucking eyeshadow. So let's go in with this beautiful looking metallic, which I love these as well. They're not like super shiny and reflective, but I think I'm going to apply one with a brush, like one eye with a brush, and then I'll do one with just my finger, because I'm one of those people, I do prefer to apply like metallics with my finger or with the Esam, the W21, because this basically gives, I'm going to say, the effect of applying an eyeshadow like a finger, except if you're like wetting the shadow, it'll make it pop even more, and it's just like the perfect shade. I don't know. I love this brush. I also love like the MAC 242, but that one you can't get anymore. But there's also the, I think it's the Refer 21, which is like an exact dupe. But like this is like my go-to. This is my shit. This is the look you guys always see me do. I can't wait to compare the swatches to like the Glam palette, because I feel like honestly that Glam palette formula was fucking bomb. All right, let me grab, I'm going to spray it on this eye just to see how it looks, because I think it's going to pop even a little bit more. But this is like everyday sort of a vibe for me. I would wear a look like this. Like if I just worked like a Monday through Friday, I would wear this like every single day. And this is the type of look that I get like the most compliments on. This palette almost gives me like Fire Rose vibes a little bit, don't you think? Do you guys want me to swatch this next to Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose? Because it kind of does remind me, as far as like undertones and stuff like that. I think that one might be just like a little bit more burgundy. But that's beautiful. Really, really like that shade, which I expected to like it. I'm going to use my finger on the other side. Look how pretty. And then I like to swipe because I think it makes it like lay a little bit more flat. So what do you guys think? Do you prefer the brush application, or do you prefer with a finger, or doesn't it matter? Like when I look at these side by side, I'm like, I don't really think it matters as far as like the effect. The only thing that matters, I think, is when you use a brush, you do get definitely more precision, which for eye shapes like mine, that is critical. Because if I want a little bit more blending, or if I want a little bit more of like see how this side it's more like cut and chiseled, whereas this one it's kind of like, all right, it's kind of there. So when I want to do that, I'll just take my brush and almost like carve out, almost like a fake cut crease. But when you wet the brush, it almost makes it look even more sharp. This is my shit. I knew that I would like it. You guys are saying finger, then fix it with a brush. Yes. Okay, you guys are with me. I'll give you guys a close-up today as well because I finally figured out why my zoom wasn't working. I was so mad. All right, let me take a little bit more. I want to spray on this side because I do think it pops just a little bit more and I could carve it just a little bit better with the brush. Bam. I love that. Are we surprised? Like, are we surprised that I like this palette? Honestly. All right, let me go with, I'm going to take the deepest shade and I'm just going to use my T05 from Esom and then just basically line a majority of my lower lash line, maybe like 2/3. Wow, I really don't like the way my complexion looks today. Guys, rate my complexion because I think it looks terrible. This concealer was a choice. I don't know. We'll keep testing the products that I use, but not off to a great start. But you know what? Sometimes they come through and surprise me when I keep using them or just try different products underneath, but damn. Not off to a great start. All right, let's go with the Worker Pro from Sonia G, and I'm going to take this shade right here. The only shade that I didn't use today was this one, which probably could have done without that one. Maybe even like a lighter metallic would have been nice or a deeper metallic. Actually, I think a deeper metallic would have been really pretty in this palette just to give a little bit more like variety to it, or even like a black. That would have been fantastic because that's one thing I love about the Biba is how it's got the black in that palette. But it's fine. I was not a fan of that foundation either. I bought it because of Patty Alonso because I think that it was one of her like favorite foundations of the year or something like that. I remember hearing her talking about it. So I was like, all right, if Patty likes it, I'm going to try it. And I got the mini. Like, if it wasn't available in a mini, I wasn't going to get it. That's one thing I do love, like, when brands do minis. Just so it doesn't... First of all, it doesn't sting as much when you buy it, but then it doesn't make you as mad if you don't end up liking it, you know? Me repeating myself in, like, every single video, because I feel like I talk about that, like, all the time. All right, how we looking? I need to blend this outer corner. I'm going to take a little bit more of that darker shade, and I'm just going to basically, like, marry this all together to get that overall, like, wing effect going. What do we think so far, guys? I'm getting, like, this weird spot. Let me see if I can fix this. I really want to drag that. Ooh, yeah. That's, like, a bitchy looking shadow-ish wing. Is that what you guys call that? Like a shadow wing when you just like flare it out like that? Yes, I love that. I just love this look for me. It Cosmetics, yeah, that concealer is thick. She real fucking thick. I wasn't ready. I put it on and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I remember I did a collab with the Honest Beauty review last year. She is such a great channel. And I remember she did a video comparing like all of her concealers. And the It Cosmetics one looked so good on her. So ever since I saw her video, I'm like, all right, I need to put that like on my list of shit to try. So then when I placed my Sephora order, they had it as like a gift with purchase sort of a thing. Or if like you enter a code, it'll, it's like free. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, sweet. I get to try it and I don't gotta pay for it. Like, winning. I put that shit on today and I'm like, ooh, stick with your Air Flash and Gucci and Tom Ford. For real. For realsies. You know what, though? Like, as much as I love the Tom Ford concealer, I think the Dior still beats it. Both are great, but I think Dior does win. I love, like, don't you hate when you do one eye and one eye looks better than the other? Because I'm like, why can't both eyes look like this? This one's almost there, but not quite. This is my shit. Like, I love looks like this. Let's keep going. Let's do an inner corner highlight. Because I want to see what that, not the inner corner, what that lid shade, what that's going to look like for an inner corner. Because usually I like something a little bit lighter and a little bit more poppy. But we're going to try it just so we could stick with this one palette. I mean, obviously it still works, like, clearly. It's a little bit darker, though. Like, I think if you have more fair skin, I don't know how you would feel about this with, like, an inner corner moment. Since I'm going to say, like, light skin with neutral undertones right now, it works, but I usually do like something a little bit lighter and brighter, just for my preference. Or I would just use, like, a face highlighter. So this isn't, like, a deal breaker. This shade is still really pretty, but I feel like we've seen this specific shade or something very similar a lot within Natasha Denona's palettes anyways. So let me just say, like, if you have, like, a stellar Natasha Denona collection, you don't fucking need this. But there is always a time and a place for something that's, like, a little 5-pan, or if you just want, like, a more affordable option for, like, a high-end luxury brand, like, or if you've just been wanting to try the formula. I'm literally just repeating myself, and I feel like I say the same shit in, like, every single one of her videos. I personally feel that her eyeshadows are worth every fucking penny. Like, that big Biba palette is $120-something, and I think that that's worth every penny because of how much I love that color story, and I know I'm gonna use the shit out of it. So if you know that going into, like, a high-end luxury price point for a palette, it's easier to justify it. It's always my left eye that decides to be late to all the parties. Yes, it's mine too. And shockingly, that's the one that looks good today, but I feel like that's the one I always have issues with. Eyes are so uneven. Yeah, it's just like, the fuck? Why can't we all just be perfection, right? It would just make everything easier. But then also, what's the fun in perfection? No fun whatsoever. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this on the brows really quick, and then just because I feel like everything looks like funky without eyebrows, I probably should have did these before, and then we'll get into some swatches. Is there any other palettes that you guys would like to see compared to the mini Biba, though? And is there any other things that you guys would like to see compared to the Rose Face Duo? Just because, I mean, I know I'm not the biggest fan. I feel like you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of her complexion products. But, I mean, if you wanted to see something, I just don't think I have anything more as far as her products. Like, I don't have any more Natasha Denona that I feel like would be comparable other than that, like, Glam Face and Eye palette. As far as comparing it to that, the Mini Cream Duo or whatever. You know? The Rose Cheek Duo, that's the name of it. Good job, Brittany. You're a makeup reviewer, I swear. If you were wondering, because I don't think I touched on the price either, the price of the eyeshadow palette is $25. Just by how I used it today, definitely worth it. I mean, you have other, like, high-end luxury brands that do quad palettes for double that price, and the formulas aren't as good. The formulas, at least from what I've tried, I mean, I tried 4 of the 5 eyeshadows today, and I'm just like, yeah, they're fucking bomb. Look at the eye look. It speaks for itself. Like, if I get eye looks like this, I ain't gonna be mad at it. I'm not gonna bitch about $25 for a palette. Not today, not ever. And then the price for the Rose Cheek Duo is $19, which, like I said, with the whole, like, if you're wanting to try her brand, like, $19 in the grand scheme of everything, it's really not that bad. Especially, like, would y'all consider Natasha Denona high-end, or would you consider Natasha Denona luxury? I think I would consider her, like, I think I'd probably consider high-end, just because she is doing a fair amount of products in, like, the high-end range, I'm gonna say. That's good enough for the brows. Like, you guys don't care. I just wanted to put some brows on because I feel like it looks weird. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Is there anything? Okay, let's do some swatch comparisons. Let's do that. All right, so we did the swatches of the mini Biba, and then let me swatch it next to the mini nude. One of my shades is damaged to fuck. I dropped it. So you guys are saying high-end, luxury. Let's see, is the dark shade hard to blend? Not really. It's just a different formula. So I have to finesse it a bit more. Let's see, high end. She is high end pushing luxury. I think I would say the same thing for that. So this is the one that was smashed to shit. So we got these three here. Let me swatch these on this side. I want to know too, like, which palette you guys prefer. If you prefer like Mini Biba or if you prefer Mini Nude, just because I am nosy. That's where I think like a deep metallic would have fit Mini Biba like so nice. But who am I? So what do you guys think? We've got Mini Nude on this side and then Mini Biba. Definitely heavier focused on the mattes in the Biba. More focused on metallics. You got 3 metallics and then 2 mattes in the Mini Nude. Honestly, for how I do my eyeshadows, I almost would like to mix these together. I think we could have done without like having both of those like mid-tone mattes. If she were to have switched out maybe like this one for something like this, I think that would have been even better, just to have a little bit more variety within your metallics, because I feel like if people have a metallic in their eyeshadow palette, they're very likely to use it. Like, at least that's my opinion. But there are people that do love like just matte palettes. So again, who am I? I can only speak for like how I do makeup. I do prefer to have like a balance between like mattes and metallics. But I think like the depth, I really like this color story overall. It's just, I don't think that we needed both of these. But at the end of the day, I'm still not mad. Just because. Thank you so much for the super chat. Awesome channel. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you. I keep looking at my fucking face and I hate it. Like, I cannot dislike this complexion even more. Like, I couldn't dislike it more. Especially on my nose. Like, are you guys seeing what's happening? This is like a foundation that sits on top of your face. I'm coming for Patty on this one. All right, so let me swatch the Glam Face and Eye Palette. This packaging is so freaking beautiful. So, I do prefer the metallics in this palette though. Like, that's what really sold me, because I'm like, they're so sparkly. Like, these give me like Scott Barnes vibes, like what I love about his. But let me swatch these eyeshadows. This was such an, like, I'm still so shocked. Like, I was not ready. Look at how pretty that is. That's a different formula. She, I don't think, has done a formula like that. I don't know if maybe that's what people love about those like her insanely large palettes, like the 23 pan, is that what they are? I don't think that she's done these, though. Like, there's 2 metallics in this palette. The only thing for me that would have made this palette better is if there was, like, a burgundy shade. If it had a burgundy shade, it would have been, like, oh, perfect. Just for, you know, my taste and my preference. But this color story... So this is the Glam Face and Eye Palette. Do you see how much more punchy and poppy those metallics are? Fucking stunning. I feel like this color story with this... Almost like if these 2 color stories had a baby. Or, you know what? If this color story had that eyeshadow, that would have been perfect. Oh! Eyes great, not loving the light foundation. Me neither. It looks terrible. I just feel like it's accentuating, like, every nook and cranny on my face. Disregard. It's fine. So this is the Glam Face and Eye Palette. We did the comparison of the complexion products already. So I personally love both, but I think that there's still, like, room for improvement on both ends. But that deep complexion, or the... Not deep complexion... The deep palette for those Glam Face palettes is fucking fire. Oh my god, that palette is so beautiful. Like, I might even put that, like, top 5 of 2021. Maybe. If you guys missed it, I just did my best palettes of 2021. And you know what palette was in it? Was this one. And this one, actually. Both of these palettes were. And another Natasha Denona palette. So let me swatch some of these. I'm not going to do, like, a ton of them. I'm just going to kind of look and be like, all right, I think that this is probably the closest one. Just because, like I said, I don't think that there's overlap, but I think when you apply, like, if I had Biba on my eyes, I don't think you would be able to tell the difference. The shades might not be identical, but I think you can get, like, an exact same look because it's very, very similar. So let me take the shade Shine and Monroe. These are two of the lightest metallics, and I want to compare them to the metallic that's in the mini Biba. So I'm going to swatch these just side by side up here. I think as far as formula goes, I'm probably going to say Monroe is closer. Yeah, like if you look at them, they're very close. Like really, really close. I think actually though, like looking at the formula side by side, the effect looks very similar, except I think the original Biba, they look smoother. Like, I'm not seeing as many, like, lines on my hand as what I see with the mini Biba. So I think that there is a difference in formula there. The colors are slightly off. But if I were to put this one on one eye, that one on the other, I don't think you'd be able to notice the difference. Then we have, like, I'll do like the deepest shade. I think the deepest shade is going to be probably closest to probably like Pasha or Rayon, maybe. But I still think I think Pasha is closer just because it has like that slight burgundy tone to it. But let's swatch them both. What do we think? I think that the mini Biba is a little bit more like chocolatey, almost like a little bit more like plum. These are more like warm tone burgundy. If anything, that's a little bit more like neutral, maybe cool toned. So there is differences, like I said, but they're not identical. But you could definitely see that there's similar vibes, I guess you could say. But overall, are they the exact same? No. Next one, let's do like one of the like neutrals. I'm just gonna swatch it underneath here. And then I'm going to swatch that one next to the shade Buff. And then I'm also going to do Tone as well. I think that the textures in the original Biba are so phenomenal. Like, as soon as I touched this palette, the original Biba for the first time, I was like, I totally understand why people fucking love this palette. Because there's something so unique about the textures of her eyeshadows. I think the shade Buff is somewhat close, almost like if Buff and what was the second one, Tone, almost like if these two had a baby, you would get what is in the mini Biba. So those are kind of close, but kind of not. Similar effect when you put on your eyes, like if you were to blend them out, I think it would be something very similar. And then the last shade, or no, we got two more shades. We've got this more peachy toned of like the mid-tone eyeshadows. I'm going to swatch. I don't know how well you're going to see this across my tattoo, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to swatch this one actually next to Buff as well, because I think Buff might actually be more simple. Yeah, like Buff is a little bit deeper, but kind of similar color family, I think. Is this helpful at all? I'm just wondering, because I see there's 95 thumbs up, so I hope it is. But is it helpful on the tattoos? I feel like you could still see it. So I think that Buff would probably be the closest. I mean, Prairie, it's like a similar like level of tone, but the undertone is totally different. Yeah, I'm just going to call it with Buff. And then this last one, which is like that different type of formula. I think this is like that creamy matte formula. I'm going to swatch this one. What do I know? I think I'm going to do this next to Rayon. No, they're still not. This one's definitely, Rayon is definitely deeper. Let's do maybe Cocoa. This one I think is the most unique. No, Cocoa's totally different. You see how that's got like a redness to it? Let's even do maybe Pasha for this one too, but it's still not. This is a standalone one. I feel like if you're looking for a similar like look as far as like adding in that warmth, I think you would use Pasha. But this one, like, the textures are completely different. I'll swatch those two side by side because they're totally different. Can I swatch Retro is totally different colors. Are you talking about the mini retro? Do I even have that one anymore? I'll have to check. I don't think color stories are at all similar, but I could do that for you. Let me wipe these two off. So I think I still stand like by what I said as far as if I were to put both of these on my eyes, I don't think you would be able to distinguish which one's which. I think where you're really gonna be out. Wow, I can't fucking talk. I think where the palette you would be able to tell the most difference is the Glam Face and Eye palette because they're so much more punchy. It's like the metallics, I mean. So there's all of those swatches comparing like, oh, excuse me, the original Biba to the mini Biba. And then let me grab my retro palette if I have it still, but I should. I just need to find it really quick. So, if you guys haven't liked the video yet, you should. If you have any other color stories that you'd like to see compared to this, yes, here it is. I have not touched this palette, I think, since I got it. Okay, you guys are still saying it's super helpful. Oh, I almost forgot. I will swatch it next to... That's next. Okay? I love it that I told Shannon, I'm like, this video won't take that long. I swear, all of my videos. Guys, this color story is not at all similar. Like, not even fucking close. Like, tones, totally different. Undertones, totally... They are not even fucking close. I'll swatch them for shits and gigs, but... Totally different. Alright, let me swatch Mini Biba really quick. And also, always remember, don't judge palettes by swatches. Okay? They always translate different when you actually put them on your eyes. I feel like, though, Natasha Denona is one of those palettes, or one of the formulas that swatches incredible, but also applies incredible. I don't own the Camel palette, so that one I'm not going to be able to help you on. All right, let's do retro. Oh my god, this is so... Whose idea was this? I'm just kidding. I love playing in swatches, so it doesn't bother me at all. I prefer Biba definitely over this one, though. I mean, this color story is super different, but honestly, are there any similarities there aside from, like, this shade maybe being similar to that shade? All right, that one, I gave it its moment. We entertained it, but not. Oh, fuck, I should have kept the Biba swatches on there. All right, let's do Fire Rose. Are we all ready? Y'all be pimping tonight. Okay. Can you compare the mini love plate? Listen, Lisa, stop it. Stop it right now. If you guys want it, I'll do it, but I don't think it's going to be anything valuable. All right? All right, one more time with the swatch and the Biba because I accidentally wiped it off. I make sure I let my hand dry in between two, but I think I still had a little bit of makeup remover on there. So disregard if the swatches aren't like incredible. I'm just trying to show you guys the shade differences. All right, if this is anything similar to the Fire Rose, y'all better use my links down below, okay? I'm just kidding. All right, so here's Mini Biba. And then if you missed out on the Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose, I'm just going to say you might want to go watch my Best of 2021 video. These eyeshadow, like, I swear, I'm like, please don't break. Please don't. I hope she brings this palette back just so I can get another one because mine is, like, crumbling. I'm devastated because it's such a good palette. All right, let's watch this next to... Oh, man, this is so good. So this is Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose. Look at those two shadows, though. Like, those are pretty close, right? Wow. I think this shade is closer to the original Biba, though. Because it looks smoother than this one. It's kind of hard to tell by, like, camera, I think. But in real life, original Biba does look smoother. All right, let's do this, like, satin brown. This shade is so fucking stunning, too. See, even if, like, the mini Biba had a shade like that, that would have been amazing. Right? Do you guys agree? Yeah, like, switch this shade for one of those, like, midtones. That would have been perfect. All All right, burgundy. I love this eyeshadow. This is one I think that these could possibly be. It's almost like a mixture of this and this. You'd get something, I think, like this. Because this does have, like, red tones to it. It's very pretty. But this is definitely more like burgundy. Definitely. And then the Star of the Fire Rose. Oh my god, I'm, like, about to hit pan on this shade. But nothing in this palette. Oh my god. Look at Fire Rose. It's so fucking good. But what do you guys think? Like, no, not the same. I feel like you can get like a similar look if Mini Biba had more redness or more like burgundy, like I said. I think you would be able to get something that looked very similar. But yeah, I think the Mini Biba is missing a shade like that. And it would be glorious. Okay, that's everything that I'm going to swatch for today before y'all act a fool in the comments and asking me to swatch stuff that looks nothing like it. They'll be like, can I get a swatch next to a Kaleidos palette? So ultimately, I know this is not like a finished look or anything like that, but this is what I would wear on a day-to-day basis. I feel like if you're a basic bitch, you love basic palettes, and you've wanted to try Natasha Denona, this would probably be a good palette to start with. If you like more metallics, though, I would go for Mini Nude. I think that these give, like, similar vibes, similar aesthetics, but I think you have more flexibility in the Mini Nude just because you have more metallics. At least for how I do makeup. So that's my overall thoughts and opinions. But you know what? I'm going to say it. This one's 20 out of 10. If you can get this at a discount, 100%. I mean, it's, to me, worth full price, especially if you love palettes like this. I love the fact that you've got neutrals, warm tones, cool tones. Like, this is an amazing staple palette. Like, I will cherish this palette for the rest of my life. But if I look at this palette, I would say, like, yeah, I could see Biba in it, but I don't think you get, like, the full effect of Biba. Just because you're still very warm tone in this one. I don't know. I think we could have done better considering we already had Mini Nude. Overall, I like it. Did I need it? No. But I love basic ass color stories, so it's fine. Tammy? Did y'all see my video using this? The new makeup release video? This is my favorite palette that Unearthly Cosmetics has done. She's like, swatch it next to the Indie Beat Cosmetics Platinum Hits. Bitch. The Biba is the best neutral palette of all time. You know what? I could probably say that. My favorite palette, like my favorite neutral palette is either Biba or Makeup Geek. I think what makes Biba stand a little bit higher is because you've got the metallics in there. But I also think that if I were to put my metallics with my neutrals from Makeup Geek would still beat it. Because I fucking love Makeup Geek. But that's neither here nor there. I think this palette is beautiful. I think this eye look is gorgeous. I'm here for it. Like I said, if you guys had been wanting the Fire Rose palette, I do have a giveaway going on during the top 20 palettes. Or it's like my best palettes of 2021. You're not going to want to miss that video, I'm just saying. So, y'all just saying stop it. So, everybody, if you guys enjoyed yourself in today's video, if you found it useful, helpful, if there's anything that I could do to make these videos better for you, please let me know. If you are shopping, make sure you guys check out the description box. I have these palettes linked at, both palettes are linked at Sephora, Beautylish, and Kohl's, because Sephora is now at Kohl's. Make sure you guys are following me on all of my socials, especially TikTok and Instagram, because I'm an Insta-ho apparently. And I don't know if I'm going to be back before the holidays, but I will be announcing the giveaway winner on my IG story from that palette video. So I don't know if you'll see me again before the holidays. So if you don't, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, enjoy it with your family. And other than that, maybe you'll see me before then. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. And I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next one. Okay, bye!